It's all happening. 18 kilometers to go. We're on our way to the grand finale of the Primus Classic. Impanis from Petegem. And on our way to Boort-Merbeek, just to the northeast of Brussels. 4 riders in the latest incarnation of a never-ending sequence of different breakaways. It's like going back in time to spring and watching the racing here. Been up and down all day long. There are still people in this peloton, or what's left of it anyway, that want to be involved. There's a lack of control, there's a lack of understanding and agreement up the front because they've not been doing equal turns at all. Vukkelen is there, Brambilla to the front, BMC and Lotto Soudal are getting involved as well. Who has anything left? It's going to be a very fast finale, Matt Stevens.
It certainly is. It looks like it's Floris Hertz who's in that notes. Yeah, Floris Hertz there for BMC. Now he took about 4 kilometers while on the commercial break, was fighting to get across, has just made contact, took a couple of breaths before starting to work with the group. This is a solid little group. Bear in mind that there's not a lot of riders left behind. You talk about cohesion, but there's no... The teams in this point in the race with only 17 kilometers to go, and that front group working very, very well together as a unit. You know, teams now are lacking in numbers, cohesion. People are tired. They need to assess the situation. Look who's around, look who's left, and then work out a plan. Do we work? Do we wait for the attacks? Do we hold back? One of the teams that's there is obviously Tinkoff Sack, so that's Trusov.
Yeah, and this isn't just one rider from any random team out there with all the rest of the teams to work together and chase, even if they aren't great in numbers. We're talking about 4 teams represented, some of the favourites represented as well, so BMC aren't going to chase, Ethics aren't going to chase, neither are Lotto Soudal. That already puts you in trouble without really thinking about wanting.
Yeah, I mean, the teams that do need to do something, who do have riders in relatively good number, unfortunately we can pick them out pretty easy with their yellow kit, is Lotto and El Yumbe. They've got around 3 or 4 riders in that group, but no willingness to take it up at the front. Again, it could be the fact they haven't got Marino Hofland there, so need to work out another plan. But rather than bringing the whole group back and then being tired, they maybe need to look at trying to start some counter-attacks, but it's running out. Time's running out at the moment. 16.7k to go. The 4 in front now have 14 seconds.
Yeah, it's growing. 12, 13, 14 seconds now with 16 kilometers to go. There is Frederik Vukkelen. He's in the light blue on the right-hand side. Comes to the front, the Italian, Gianluca Brambilla, pardon me. He's in the black, white and light blue. He's riding for Ethics Quick Step. Just behind him for Lotto Soudal. Great rider, fantastic in this race, and he's been so attacking all season, Pim Ligtaert. And alongside them, Floris Hertz as well. 13 seconds.
It's one of these long expanses of roads just coming off. I think the last significant climb was probably that bridge. It looks like it's trying to see what sort of organisation there's. It just seems some teams in 1s and 2s getting on the front. Lotto and El Yumbe starting to move up a little bit.
Well, Giant Alpecin and Rompot, I think, are going to try and lend a hand as well, so that could help them. Perhaps if you had one more big team represented in here, it really would be danger for those behind.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, 3 World Tour teams, 1 Pro Continental team, and there does seem to be some sort of organisation behind, and as you correctly said, it's a Europe car, and actually Tim Rompot, Bora Argon 18 also in the Vex, and then you can just see the yellow helmet of Lotto and El Yumbe. They do have riders in force, so clearly willing to put somebody on the front to try and get this deficit down a little bit. 10 seconds as they round yet another one of these sketchy, shiny corners.
That was Dylan Groenewegen on the front, the winner of the Brussels Classic a couple of weeks ago. Photo finish with Roy Jans of Wanty Gobert. Tom Bonham was in 3rd place on that day. Strong rider Groenewegen. Dutch rider, of course, for the Dutch team. They had a man representing them in the break earlier today, Brian van Gutem, as Thomas Vauclair is enjoying himself today, and that's what he bases his career around. Se faire plaisir, enjoy oneself.
Yeah, I mean, there is a weird, almost perverse enjoyment in riding as hard as he can in the front of the bunch. You may, I mean, clearly by him doing this isn't trying to win the race himself. He's burying himself. You've seen him spend a lot of time on the front. About 10 kilometers ago, he did about a 3k turn. He's trying to bring this back together with the other riders in the squad. But there's an intensity and a certain
Brambilla
pleasure
attacks, pardon me, Matt, because Brambilla decides that 12 seconds nowhere near enough. He's feeling good, he's feeling strong, and Gianluca Brambilla of Ethics Quick Step. He's an Italian rider, but of course his team are at home today. They are the biggest team in the country. They've got all the big bucks. They are the Chelsea to Lotto Soudal's, well, How would you put it? Birmingham City?
Well, just look at the way it looks like he attacked through the corner. Pimlich's got that corner very, very wrong indeed. And sometimes, you know, I mean, he's a small rider, low centre of gravity, clearly cornering with consummate, well, confidence, ease and skill, opened up that gap. But again, if you look at the results all through the season of Essex Quickstep, such a rounded team. You know, 3 wins at the Tour of Britain, all individual outstanding wins. Clearly feeling very, very good, but a great shot. He's opened up the lead now to 17 seconds, and Florey Sert's trying to bring him back.
17 seconds then, with 14 kilometres to go. Not too far from Brussels, but we're still in that typical Flanders farmland. 13 Ks remain. Vauclair doing a great job here in Europe. Obviously have plans today. Want to celebrate that announcement the other day of the new Direct Energy sponsor with something more. Preben van Hekker in this group. It looks as though the group may have swelled again a little.
Yeah, it looks like 1 or 2 smaller groups have got back in contact. Looks like there's around maybe 50 or 60 riders here. Bear in mind they're all lined out, but definitely a few more riders have managed to get back into the mix. But I think this is the peloton that's going to make it to the finish. I don't think there's much of an opportunity looking back down that road for anybody else now to get on terms.
Groenewegen again at the front now. I wonder if either of the Craders are involved today, Raymond or Wesley. Groenewegen himself winning the sprint the other week. Andreas Schillinger is the rider who hits the front wearing black for Bora Argon 18. German team born out of the ashes of the NetApp Endura setup.
Yeah, definitely got a couple of other riders, and we can see those in the dark jersey. Looks very much from the front like the giant Alpecin jersey. Quite easy to get those mixed up. Not too sure if Shane Archbold's in there. I haven't seen him with his flowing locks, but he's a very, very fast finisher.
The flying mullet.
Indeed, as he's better known as.
10 seconds. Good strong work. You can see the cohesion here between Europcar, between the rider from Roompot, Groenewegen as well, and Schillinger, who we just mentioned, from Bora Argon 18.
Well, now there's organisation that they can see them up ahead on the longer stretches of road. 9 seconds now, they are slowly eating into this lead, but now there's cohesion and there's a real sense of purpose. It's going to be a little bit difficult now for this group in front, and we might see some other attacks. Brambilla not happy with the situation, that's why he's launched himself clear. But again, the pace now really high, and another second has gone.
Fingston a little further back for Bora Argon 18. Rider who's there, the first rider in the yellow, white and black for Lotto Jumbo's Timo Roosen. Petrov still hanging about as well.
Yeah, Petrov turned a court there, just taking a sip from his bottle with the blue shoes and the black kit. Several riders from Essex Quickstep a little bit further back. Danny van Poppel also there, perhaps resting up a little bit. He has to be one of the favourites should this come back together, sprinting very, very well. And also in the mix there is the Belgian champion, Van Heck.
8 seconds, 12 Ks to go. We saw Thomas Vauclair just looking around as if he was looking for a teammate there. I wondered if he wanted to bring somebody up to attack. There's obviously some sort of plan for Europcar, because they've committed 3 men to that chase.
Yeah, when you look down their roster, I mean, without being overly rude, there's no real sprinter that jumps out. They do have a couple of sprinters on their roster. They haven't brought the finer sprinters here, but they've clearly made a decision on the road that they're going to try and bring this back. Whether that's to provide a leapfrog opportunity for a counter-attack, as this group now is all back together. Brambilla been brought back into the fold, sat second wheel, still willing to work despite being brought back, but only 7 seconds is the now rather tenuous lead.
Gianluca Brambilla alongside the rider from Lotto Soudal, who is Pim Ligtaert. Behind him, Frederik Verkelen, and at the back of this group, Floris Gertz of BMC. BMC with Lotto Soudal, Wanty Group Gobert, and Essex Quickstep in a 4-man break, 10 seconds, with 11 kilometers to go here in Primus Classic Impanis van Petegem. Started in Brakel at the start of the day. We've gone all the way through the Flemish Brabant. We've gone through a little bit of Wallon territory as well. We've worked our way up to the east side of Brussels. We're now the other side of the airport in the northeast of the city, and back heading towards the countryside. A finish today in Boortmeerbeek. Just over 10 Ks to go. And this peloton behind absolutely decimated. Thomas Vauclair in charge of it. He's done most of the organisation work. He's done a lot of the physical work as well. Still hard to call Matt Stevens, who's alongside me with 10Ks to go.
It is hard to call. It came back down to 7 seconds, then yo-yoed out to 10, back down to 8 seconds. But again, the team with strengths in numbers on the front isn't the team that we'd have expected to take it up at the front, because they haven't got, so appears to us, an out-and-out sprinter. We're not too sure exactly who Europcar got left in the mix, but we obviously, of course, know that Tommy Vauclair is there. But this group in front, still working very, very well together, but no assistance from any other teams, especially the teams that we thought have had stronger sprinters are actually letting Europcar do the work at the front. But when that plays out on the road, you'll let the other teams do it. If there's a willingness of other teams to do the work, and you aren't called to do the work, you don't need to. You're just going to back off and save things for the back end of the race. But only 10 kilometres to go. This is very, very finely balanced. The last three kilometres of the race, not complicated at all. We head in down a long straight, swing right with about 2.5 k's to go. Then there's a long 1,200 metre stretch before swinging left into the finishing straight. A rather uncomplex finish, long, wide open road down to the finish line and completely flat.
Less than 10 kilometres. 6 seconds, that's all. 6 measly seconds. They can see the behind. And I think it is all going to come back together yet again in a moment. Brambilla pushes on regardless. A little look behind, that might dent his confidence a little.
Yeah, but Schulin having a look over his shoulder there. Is he thinking of the attack, or is he thinking of perhaps regrouping, saving himself?
Well, Moreno Hofland isn't one of the 3 riders for Lotto NL Jumbo there. I wonder how Mike Teunisen's feeling. He's fast enough at the finish. We saw him ride London.
He rode very well there, got in that final group, finished just on the podium in the end. Was second in fact.
Surprised a lot of people with his speed. I, for one, certainly wasn't backing him.
No.
Interesting to see what they can pull out the hat. Again, it's an interesting time of year for results as well. Contracts are at stake. Motivation is or isn't there, depending on what you have or haven't achieved, or what your objectives are for the winter. When do you start your winter? When do you start your pre-season training? It's different for everybody. Certainly those who are riding the classics will be thinking of holidaying soon and getting back to training well before Christmas. Those who are looking at the Giro will be doing something pretty similar. Those looking at the Tour de France might be having an extra month off.
Exactly. I mean, even this time of year, although we've still got the World Championships to come, as Brambilla takes to the front for Ethics Quick Step, still determined, still believing that this group can stay away. Perhaps there's almost like an end of term feel even at this time of year, and what that does, it brings other riders into the mix. Riders were not used to participating and taking part or in the bunch sprints. So I think this sprint, should it come down to it, because they've still got about 150 metres lead, is going to be a rather interesting and quite unpredictable affair, I think.
Rompolt, they've been involved a couple of those recently. Groenewegen winning one in Brussels by a photo finish the other week. Belgian jersey still in there. Von Hecker, that 10th wheel on the right hand side. Black shoulders, and you can see the tricolour colours underneath it, the blue and red as well. Bike racing in Belgium, and particularly in Dutch-speaking Belgium, always attracts big crowds, and we're seeing that right now.
Well, the one team with strength in number just in the back of the group, still not participating and helping share the pace at the front. Damiano Caruso's there, Jean-Pierre Drucker, the Luxembourg who we just talked about. He's riding in about 3rd wheel on the left-hand side behind the train of Lotto NL Jumbo riders. Still Tommy Vauclair persevering on the front of the group, and I think the junction is about to be made.
Yeah, a couple of Bretagne Session Environment riders in there as well. Just over 7 kilometres to go. Brambilla's in there. One of the last hopes for his team. It's rare to see a big break and a big selection at the front of a one-day race in Belgium without several Ethics Quick Step riders in there. I can't see many myself.
I can see 1 or 2. I don't know who they are. Hopefully we'll get a closer look, because if they have Yanni Meersman in there, they'll be definitely up for the sprint. Very, very fast finisher indeed. And again, Golash, I haven't seen him. Try and pick out a few numbers now.
It looked like Gianni Meersman to me at the back with his hair out the back. We shall see.
Finally, it's Team Pot who make the junction. All back together, but Pim Lichtart still driving hard on the front. You sometimes get that. Well, there it is, a last glance over his shoulder. An unnecessary turn there, but the junction has been made, and now the race opens up with only 6.5 Ks to go. Tommy V pulls the pin.
Job done for Thomas Vauclair, and what a job he has done today. I think he saved a lot of people chances, not just his own, but a lot of the teams as well. Now, Ethics Quickstep do have representation here. Representation at the front through Sean Deby, chasing this move that's been launched by the team Fast Good Service Golden Palace. Looks to be the same rider who was having a go from them earlier on. Fast Good Service, who have had Sander Cordeel up there in the last few years. BMC, look at that, 4 riders together at the front, and suddenly teams who look to have been hiding in the last few kilometres make it slowly to the front.
Also Sean Deby for Lotto's there, but yeah, as you say, I think the team that has the most strength in number alongside Lotto NL Jumbo is the American squad. They've got a good team here, 4 riders. They're now on the front, bringing it back together. I think they're definitely looking after the interests of Jean-Pierre Drucker. He's still in the mix, look out for him in the sunglasses. Sitting 4th wheel at the moment. BMC 5 strong in that group just behind.
Yeah, Cordell, who we mentioned, their 2nd wheel in the multicoloured jersey, the black, orange, red and beige colour. Well, he was a winner here in 2011 when it became a full-time UCI professional race again for the first time since 1994. This race began in 82. Willem Peters were the first winner. We had a couple of big Aussie names winning, for all of you watching late night down under in Australia. Alan Piper, a winner in 86. Phil Anderson in 93. This race then turned into a junior race. It's been all sorts of different things before returning as the rebranded, renamed Impanis van Petegem in 2011. Sander Cordeel with that last attack was the winner then. We've had Greipel win in 2012. We've had Van Marke successful a couple of years ago. Last time it was BMC, but it was Greg van Avermaet. Today it looks to me like they're going to be riding for Jean-Pierre Drucker.
It does. Well, Jean-Pierre Drucker is sat on 4th wheel. You can just see him with the aero helmet on his wheel. In the white kit of Trek Factory Racing is Danny Van Poppel. He obviously knows the right sort of wheel to get on. I mean, the sprinters in this situation, with a group only of about 40 riders, they'd have had a look around to see who's there, perhaps look at the wheel, the fastest rider that they know is the most experienced, that they know will be going for the finish. That's why we're seeing Danny Van Poppel in close attendance, but BMC looking like they're riding with definite intent, and they're going to take this, I think, all the way through to the finish line.
I wonder how Kenny de Haas is feeling. Fast man for Lotto Soudal. Just going to see who has made it. We know not all of the sprinters have made it. Francesco Chicchi is one of them. He was dropped around 20 to 30 kilometres ago. Poppel is there.
It's Caruso now on the front.
Sean B, 24.
Grand Tour rider now on the front. They're 8th in the Giro this year, taking it up. Floris Hertz also there. And then you have well, an attack on the right-hand side. They need to watch this.
Yep, it's another little dig from Lotto Soudal, making the other teams work all the way to the finish. Fast Good Service want to follow everything. Sander Cordeel is having a good go himself. And then it's the time to worry if those attacks start to go. 3.5 kilometres to go without too many big teams to exercise that control. It could all happen at any time. Lotto Soudal stretching it out. BMC just about closing the gap. Into the final 3 kilometres now. So unpredictable, this finish. Is it going to be a late attack that wins it? Is it going to be a little sprint that does it? We've got a long straight road here, a right turn, a 90 degree, then another left 90 degree, and the final kilometre, or just under kilometre, are all flat as yet again. Lotto Soudal want to put the pressure on BMC and the other teams who have strength in numbers. It is Sean Deby who's had a go. Behind him and having to chase, I think that's Floris Hertz.
Floris Hertz, the stagiaire, trying to shut the gap. 2.7 kilometres to go. Very interesting little situation here.
And this is dangerous now. This is very, very dangerous because Lotto, with attack after attack after attack, have worn BMC down. And if there's nothing less to chase in the last 2.5 kilometres, if it gets out of control, there is no time to bring it back.
Well, that's what we're seeing. Lotto NL Jumbo trying to shut the gap down. Ethics quick step there, also in the blue. Wanty Group Goubert wanting to try and bring things back together. 2.3 Ks to go. They hold a very, very slender lead. Number 47 is Tankink.
Van Tankink just doing his best to pull this back behind in attendance and ready to pounce as well. Riders from Wanty Group Goubert, but it's to be out there at the minute, followed by Floris Hertz. Oof, my money is on this just coming back together, but it has to be organised very quickly. Oof, I tell you what, from the air, that gap looks miles more important, and I don't think we'll get the big bunch kick that we might have thought 2 minutes ago.
This is really, really strong out now. 2 Ks to go under the Het Nieuwsblad sign, and it's Wanty Group Goubert trying to bring De B back. Floris Hertz struggling to hold the wheel. Looks like the little gap has opened up.
This is a huge ride from Sean De B. By the way, he's had a really good week. He has been active in every race he's ridden on this sort of mini Belgian calendar, if you like, towards the end of the season. De B is opening up, and I'm not sure there are enough people to catch them here.
We're looking behind, there's just riders at 6th and 7th, 1.5 kilometres to go. De B has opened up a little, well, unimaginably small lead over Floris Hertz, who's essentially tracking him, but as a rider from Van Anders Williams just bridged across the gap.
Yeah, Van Anders Williams, who come here with Gaetan Dieler and some excellent other riders who are seen. Christophe Primus, who's been there and around. They've already lost Dries de Bont today out through a crash. Some sort of organisation behind, but is it too little too late? We're approaching the last kilometre now as Hertz has been caught, and this is Sean De B on the left hand side riding away for dear life. Look at the position he's in, the effort face he's on, and it's threshold riding to the finish.
It certainly is. He doesn't want to look round. Under the kilometre to go flag, he's got about 3 or 4 seconds. The former under-23 road race champion back in 2013, is this going to be his?
Sean De B in the red for Lotto Soudal takes the final corner of this race. It's straight up to the finish now, and it is hold your breath style to see if he can make it. I think behind they're not going to catch him now. It's that clear. He's just got to worry about that second group. Now he knows he really has an opportunity. Straight to the line. Big one here for Sean De B, but there's a late surge coming up from behind as well. De B just about has it for the minute, but it is going to be so tense, so tight. He just has to keep going through that pain barrier.
Hugging the left-hand side, keeping it very, very smooth behind it. Well, there's still the 2 riders just the left-hand side. Is he going to hold on?
200 metres to go now for Sean De B. Surely has to be his. 4.5 hours on the Primus Classic Impanis van Petegem. Last year for Navermaet. This year it's De B. Lotto Soudal are going to take the win. Sean De B with an improbable attack. Brilliant stuff when we weren't expecting it. And Sean De B takes the win in Belgium, an average of 44.9 on the day. Primus Classic won by Sean De B.